Hey, Aries, intuitive soul coach here with your quarter 4, October, November, and December reading. Welcome back to my channel if you're returning, and welcome if you're new. If you're interested in a personal reading, signing up for the monthly newsletter, or entering into the free reading giveaway, you can find all of that information in the description box below the video. All right, next 3 months, what's in store? Bottom of the deck, you have building blocks. This is a great energy around something you're trying to build and perhaps expand upon or address in your world. With the building blocks here, it's also card 28. 2 and 8 breaks down to 10, which is new beginnings, endings bringing in new beginnings. So there could be a lot of transitions for you as you wind up 2024. Now, Aries, this is significant as well because we have Aries and Libra in the North and South Node collectively. And this is a big time to wrap up things that you've wanted to complete, bring things to completion here. And if you've wanted to take a big giant leap forward towards a new beginning, I feel like you have time. Now, we shift into different nodes in January of 2025. So this is still a very, very pivotal time for you. So whatever you have been building or creating, you may be taking inventory of what's working, what's not, what do you want to change, what energies can you make room for, because there's something new coming in here. I get that strongly with that one energy. Yeah, and here's to clean it up. And we actually have card 21, which is the world. So you are cleaning things up here and you're ready to let go. Perhaps things that have been replaying out repetitively, potentially since 2008, as we have a lot of cosmic shifts. Specifically in Pluto, there's a big shift coming back up around for us to really take a look at, and a new reset of a karmic cycle. And I feel like this is quite significant for you. Not only do we have card 21, which in tarot, that's the last of the major arcana, but we also have card 31 here, which is the last number in our month calendar system, right? I mean, yes, some months have 28 days, some 30, but it never goes past 31. So I feel like this means finalization, completion on a leg of your journey that perhaps you have been working very, very hard at. I see you have with the building blocks, and you actually have timing right underneath, and you have chaos and conflict. So it hasn't been easy. Divine timing has been at play, and you've struggled with this earthly, human, egoic timing, right? Sometimes we want things in our time, but the universe has different plans. But I see here that you're hitting a new level. It reminds me of the game Tetris. If you've ever played the game Tetris and you had to put all those blocks together, and I feel like it has been difficult because it's almost as if you kept getting the blocks that were the wrong shape and you didn't have a spot to put them in, or it's like it kept building and building and building and you weren't able to make any progress here in some way, shape, or form. It just feels like it was a never-ending cycle. Whatever that has been in your life, or it's taken a long time. For some of you, this could be health. For some of you, I actually see it being a home, building an actual home, or it could be a business. For others of you, this is building up financial security in order to potentially retire. Yeah, a lot of you could be finalizing plans for retirement or making a big move. It could be a move across the country, the continent, the state, the town. I mean, it can be anything here for you, but I see it being quite significant. So I'm excited to dive in and see what cards show up for you. But diving into the month of October, you have the Y card. So you may be questioning, what is happening around me? Why does everything feel all out of sorts at times? I feel like this goes beyond you, Aries. This goes beyond you. There could be a lot of shifts globally, worldwide. I am picking up on education or perhaps Some of you, you're preparing to study for a new course and you're asking yourself, why or what is my purpose or my passion? I also see for some of you, it has been a struggle to get answers. This could be answers in the health industry. For others of you, you have gone through a significant shift in your relationships, potentially with a romantic partnership or a family member. But I do see you diving deep into the intellect. Now, Libran season, the majority of it is, in October. And I feel like you will be in your head a bit about things, but you're also going to be very logical. And that means you're finding solutions. You're finding answers instead of letting maybe old patterns or old emotions dictate that never-ending cycle that perhaps you've gone through. I feel like there's a new perspective here because I happen to see that the change in the wind card is card 12, and that's the Hanged Man in tarot. And so I feel like there is a new perspective on perhaps how to build, how to create a life of abundance, how to maybe increase intimacy in relationships. And I'm not talking just, romantic, but a sense of closeness, because some of you, for quite some time, it's as if I feel you've rejected love or you've rejected closeness in some way, shape, or form due to perhaps fear of abandonment, fear of rejection, fear of settling in some way, shape, or form. I also get something potentially with control, power, or dominance, and that could be because you may have been dealing with someone who had those characteristics. But we're going to take a look and see why the Y card is showing up for you in the month of October. Why is the Y card here for Aries? Now, what is Aries questioning? Okay, we have the Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands is showing up, represented as Jack Pumpkinhead here. And the Knight of Wands is a very enthusiastic, fun, courageous energy. This is about success within perseverance and dedication. And for some of you, that is why you've been questioning. You're like, I have been persevering. I've dedicated my time. I've done this. I've done everything right. I've went by the book. Why is it still not here? Or why hasn't accumulated the results that I've wanted and I've worked so hard for? And there's the Knight of Swords. There's the mind. There's the intellect. So what I see here is you're going to have a spiritual push behind the action. This does look like a very action-oriented month, potentially within the mind or within your ideas. There could be a lot going on around you, as I mentioned, and you're questioning, why did this happen? I'm getting that we could see some things in the news that are quite sad. They bring sorrow. I don't want to tune into that energy too much, as we have been seeing things like this for how long. It's not going to be, new, but I feel like it may be bigger. It may be, things that we're questioning. How could, a human being act in such a way? Or, how could that happen? Or how could that person have done that? And I feel for some of you, there is going to be questioning about humanity, but for the majority, this is going to be questioning about the timing, as the Knight of Swords here is represented by TikTok, okay? This would be a really great month to take a little bit of a social media break, okay, in the month of October, in order for you to get in touch with yourself. I also see there could be some sort of technological advancement, maybe in the medical world or in AI. We could see something showing up. Now, some of you may be questioning, you may be a little old school, or you may say, why, or how is that happening, or is that really going to work? And some of you may be shaking your head and you may be thinking, what on earth, quite literally, what on earth is happening? But when it comes to your personal life, you have the Four of Pentacles, the Wicked Witch's possessions. Now, this does have to do with your material world. So this may have to do with financial institutions. Some of you, there may have even been a situation regarding your career that felt a little bit unfair, or it's like you went for that promotion or that job opportunity and you were rejected or you didn't get it. And you're a little bit upset. Now, I don't even see any upset cards, but because you're questioning something here, you could be upset if you don't receive, some news that you thought you were moving in the right direction. Some of you may even receive good news, but then you question it. So if this is an opportunity such as, a new love comes in, and at first it feels very exciting with the Knight of Wands here, and you move forward, and then it's like you stop yourself, you freeze, you get into that quick mind space in a negative way, because remember, we can use the mind to build or destroy, and that's why you have the building blocks showing up here, Aries. So don't allow the mind to destroy some sort of good news that you have coming in. That could be a very important message as well, where you start to overthink something and you say, well, wait a minute, is this really in my highest good, or should I go for, that career move? Should I take that career move or that leap of faith? It's almost as if it's here and you've been working on it for so very long, that when the shift finally happens, where that new partnership comes in, or that new job opportunity, or you have the ability to retire, or, whatever big completion is occurring in your life, it's like you may be questioning it, which is normal, Aries. It's okay to question, but don't allow the mind with the Knight of Swords in reverse to hold you back, because what is the key here in the month of October? Knight of Wands is perseverance and dedication. That's where your, that's where your success will lie in the month of October. Perseverance and dedication, because I'm getting a yes. So I'm excited to see what the outcome, we're going to pull a card to see what the outcome energy is, but don't talk yourself out of something because of fear or because an old pattern comes up, because if you do it, there's where we see this never-ending story showing up. So it's as if there could be a test here in the month of October where you have an opportunity to graduate in a sense, right? Or which is nothing wrong with it, right? You have an opportunity to go back and do something and do it in a new way. And you'll just learn additional, information. The soul could perceive things, differently this time around. So either way, it's part of your path or your journey. It's up to you. Some of you are going to choose to repeat it in a different way. Okay. Or you may decide that you've graduated and you've learned all that you've needed. So, but if it is a pattern or a dynamic that is limiting you, I feel like that's what you need to focus on cleaning up, okay? Because some of you, this has to do with your material world, with this Four of Pentacles showing up, managing your resources, your finances. This is a need for stability. It could be protecting what you've built. Some of you are saving for something you really want, and that could be part of it. Saving for retirement, saving for that home. And it's as if it's here, like you finally got to the point where you've saved it, and now you're questioning, well, should I really? That's a big chunk of money. Or am I going to have enough to be able to go off on my own or move? Or do I have enough within me emotionally or physically to say yes to a new relationship when you've been independent for so long? So I feel like there is a little bit of questioning, but let's look at the outcome energy, and then we'll clarify if we need to. What's the outcome for October? What's the outcome? Oh, that's what I thought. Beautiful. So like I said, some of you, this could be, just you getting up in your head, questioning things that we all question when we get to that launch point, right? It's like jumping off of a diving board. Unless you're a professional diver and that's what you choose to do each and every single day, it's going to be easier for you. And that's like the neuroplasticity in the mind. That's like the patterns, the repetition, unless you do it every single day. But if you're not an experienced diver and you go up there and you climb on this huge diving board and you're a little afraid of heights anyway, and you get to the top and you look down, for too long, you're going to start to question, right? You're like, oh boy, do I have what it takes to really, what if I belly flop? What if I land on my back? What if I break my neck, right? It's all the what ifs. And it's the crazy monkey mind that, gets in our way. And it's like, you've been training for this in some way, shape, or form. And I feel like you've been training for it potentially mentally. So it's just getting over that because you know how to dive. You know how to do that deep dive. You've been spiritually, emotionally, physically, mentally working on something here because your outcome is the Six of Wands and the Queen of Wands. Don't let insecurities or a lack of confidence keep you from your success. This is beautiful, a beautiful outcome. Queen of Wands is Belina the hen here. And the Queen of Wands is someone who is magnetic. She is a leader. You are a leader. This is your energy, fire, right? Six of Wands. This is Munchkin country where, you know, all the Munchkins are happy. There's celebrations coming in. Yes, they have had to conquer some big things, but the worst is over. The Wicked Witch, right? So whatever the Wicked Witch of the East is in your life, the big thing that you've had to conquer, stand in your confidence, stand in your strength because you are highly magnetic at this time, Aries. You're always magnetic, but specifically you are being called to step into your confidence this month, in the month of October. Now, some of you, this is a very sharp, witty energy coming in. This could be, you know, taking that leap of faith in some way, shape, or form, or that deep dive into success. Some of you, there may have even been a fear of success. What if I get so big that I can't keep up, or I don't have time for, you know, family or my dreams, or what if I get lost in this situation? Some of you, there could be a fear of getting lost or codependent or too attached to a specific outcome, and you don't want to lose yourself because you are very independent, but I don't feel like you're gonna. And maybe you have in the past, maybe that's been a thing for you, but remember what I said about the 31? That's the last day. We never, ever, ever have or have ever had, not to my knowing, 32 days in a month, right? And the 21, as long as tarot has existed, there's never been a 22, not of my knowing anyway. So I feel like you have come to this peak in your journey on your soul's path where it's time. So what I mean by some of you going back and repeating it, I feel like if you do decide to go back and repeat something, you're not going to stay in it long. So whether that's a relationship or it's a job that you decide to stay in, or if you decide not to do something that you are really meant to take a deep dive, there's going to be a tower, or there will be a push from the universe saying, wait a second, you don't really need to repeat this. So we're going to give you that push or that pivot off that diving board, ready or not. So it's best that you do it with your strength and your confidence. So I like this for you. Let's look at November. You have Clean It Up. Clean It Up card, 21. This does remind me of that world. And so this is the month where you're cleaning it up. It's like you finally took that deep dive, that splash, and you may have splashed into the water and the water kind of went everywhere and you may be cleaning it up, right? Or it's about tying up loose ends or finishing the last pieces, putting something together here in some way, shape, or form. Some of you could be getting ready to sell a property or to move into a new property. You could be giving a 2-week notice. I also see if you've gone through maybe a divorce or separation, this could be a month where there's justice. I've just seen the justice energy in my mind's eye. Yeah, because we have the 5 of Cups here, so there may have been some sort of, 4 of Cups, which is good. Some sort of healing. I was going to say a mending, and I was feeling emotional loss, and it could be you were mending from emotional loss, or, you know, a trigger or a pattern that has occurred in your life that you may have played out. And when the 4 of Cups shows up here, this is rest and retreat. It's renewal. It is being able to kind of get what you need done. So you may feel quite busy in a sense, but I feel like you have the push. I'm getting a little bit of that 10 of Wands energy where there could be a little bit of busyness in order for you to take a break. Okay, we have King of Cups here as well. Some of you could be taking care of family, or perhaps family is moving out. Some of you are, this has to do with children. Okay, maybe a child is getting ready to leave the home, or, 4 of Cups here could also be coming to a point in your life where you just want to live with more simplicity, maybe even spend more time focusing on, the people and the places and the things that you love more. King of Cups, I feel, is the main energy of why you've completed some sort of a cycle. So you can get to that place of emotional stability, and you are emotionally intelligent. You've been patient, even though at times you're thinking, Mel, I don't feel like I'm that patient, but you have been. You've been very patient on this journey towards healing, recovery, recovering from, disappointments or setbacks. Some of you have worked for years and years and years with a therapist or a coach, or healing the inner child, some shadow stuff. Like I said, I don't feel like this is something that's just been occurring over the last year. I feel like whatever this big cycle is, it could be one of the, a 16-year cycle or something of that nature. But King of Cups says you're coming out of it where you're someone that people really love, they look up to. You're very, very supportive. You may even be a healer of some way, shape, or form. This could be healing in any way, right? You could be a brain surgeon. You could be, someone who has a wellness business. I mean, we can heal in so many different ways, and even being of service. But you had to go through the Seven of Swords. You had to go through some sort of betrayal or dishonesty or struggle or abandonment even with the Seven of Swords, but it's in reverse. So for a lot of you, this is dishonesty that stems from fear, or it could be dishonesty because we desire an outcome that's not truthful to our soul or to our path. It's almost as if some of you may have been dealing with a situation or a person. For some of you, it could be a person, because I see that there's been some sort of healing or recovery needed. And you may have been telling, and maybe that's part of why you have the why showing up here in October, is because you're thinking, maybe it is time for a complete overhaul. Maybe I should go from, A over here and take a leap of faith and end up at F, right? And I feel like it's not about missing the pieces and sidestepping or, going underneath. I feel like you've already been doing the pieces, but you may not recognize it because it didn't show up right here in the now. But remember, something was going on behind the scenes. You've been doing the work, and Spirit is guiding you to pivot in a new course or direction in your life. And Seven of Swords is saying, this is the moment of truth. This is time to really get honest with yourself. So if you're really questioning, should you do it? This is where you need that High Priestess energy more than ever, because your intuition is telling you and guiding you to move forward. Spirit, what's the outcome for the month of November? The Magician. Beautiful. Yeah, the Creator. The Magician is the manifester, the creator, the talent and the skill and the ability. He is a communicator, and he's also a very powerful leader, an independent leader even. And because you have the Queen of Wands, I feel like a lot of you are being called to lead your destiny in some way, shape, or form, but it does require your participation, right? It requires you to embrace change, embrace transformation, and again, embrace that Knight of Wands, perseverance and dedication. But I feel like you get to that point in October where you've worked so hard for something, so hard at the building, that maybe that Four of Cups is saying, wow, I finally can let that breath out, because the Four of Cups is a turning point, a big turning point when it comes to your life. And I do see here, some of you are focused on the past, or maybe you were a little bit frustrated in the timing of things. Maybe there was emotional stagnation. There wasn't a lot of excitement or passion or enthusiasm or drive or motivation. It's almost as if you were lacking all those happy, good feelings that we want to feel, that embrace us in that warmth energy of the sun, right? Here it is. Here it is showing up with the King of Cups. I mean, the King of Cups, look at him. He's happy. So if you haven't been happy for some time, if you've been disappointed, or if you've been bored, anxious, or you just have been feeling like, what's the point? Or, Spirit is saying, don't give up. This is the final roll call here. clean it up, because a fresh new beginning that looks to be very emotionally satisfying with this King of Cups is here. And the main energy is you are the creator. Don't forget your magic, Aries. Don't forget your magic. Now, when the Magician shows up, he's very energetic. Some of you, you may have struggled with your health. Okay, and you may be cleaning up your diet, cleaning up, the foods that you eat. And I also see something with, antibiotic resistance. Now, I'm not personally a fan of antibiotics anyway, but of course, you do you. Trust in your source. But I feel like someone may have been antibiotic resistant, or some sort of some sort of medication wasn't helping. And I feel if you've struggled with your health team, or if you've struggled with some sort of medication, I feel like this is the time where there is a turning point and you may finally shift up something else. It's like you gain a new perspective in your health and you start to take action in that new direction, and you're able to work with what you couldn't see prior. Okay, for some of you, this is health. Now, I also see with this Magician showing up in the month of November, there could be a dream or a wish that finally is being manifested, right? And it's like you want to do this. Some of you may feel like you are on that timeline or time crunch in a way of, okay, I'm winding it down here. I'm getting to the end of the year. I really want to hit the year strong. I want to hit my numbers, or I want to, be able to feel successful. I mean, it's here. You are Six of Wands, success. Some of you, this has to do with fame. So you may quite literally hit some sort of numbers, but it's about being of service. It's about helping others in a big way. When the Queen of Wands shows up with the Six of Wands, some of you are entertainers of some sort. You could be spiritual influencers. You may be someone who is very passionate and very active towards what your heart's desire is, what you feel a strong call to bring to the attention to others in some way. Because the King of Cups here, I mean, when he goes into a profession, or when he goes into, love or whatever it is, he goes in with his heart, and he does it because this fulfills him on an emotional level. So I feel like you're going all in and you're creating something new. You're manifesting here a new beginning. I really like that. Now let's look at the month of December. Now December, we do have all that glitters and we have never ending story. And I feel what this is saying is you now know what has been a repetitive pattern, where it's like you kept searching for fool's gold, right? You kept searching because fool's gold, it mimics what it is that you want. Remember that Seven of Swords? We said the Seven of Swords can be, some sort of dishonesty that stems from fear or a desired outcome. It can also be an illusion. Some of you, there is enlightenment, and you finally, you've reached this pivotal moment of your life, right? And you're saying, this is it, right? I'm finally getting to that treasure chest piece. Perhaps I've been digging and digging this whole time for, something that was an illusion, but really what you're getting to is a piece within yourself that is the winning ticket. It's like on Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, all those other children, there's something about them being illusions or them being in it for all the wrong reasons, right? But Charlie doesn't even realize that he wishes and hopes because his heart is in it, right? His heart is in it, and he's the one holding the winning ticket. But there's threatening forces that are, so-called illusions, but really they're there to test him, right? I forget what the guy's name is in Willy Wonka that seems very scary and creeperish. But I feel like you've come to that point at the end where you realize what it was all for. And you realize that you really did pass the test in some way, shape, or form. And you're not repeating the never-ending story. Just like in Willy Wonka, right? Wasn't there so many different failed attempts to find the Charlie, basically? And I feel like this is it for you, Aries. This is it. So it's card 16. and 37. Now, some of you could have birthdays on the 31st, the 21st. You may be 37 years old, or a birthday on the 16th. 16th is Tower energy. And I feel like this Tower is a shattering of an old belief system. A shattering of the old belief system. And it could be the things that you may have thought were illusions, or maybe even the things that you thought were bad for you really actually were part of this next leg of your journey in a profound way. So, for example, some of you, perhaps there was a chronic health issue that you've dealt with and dealt with and dealt with, and it was a struggle and it was a pain, but you get to this turning point and you realize, wait a second, I'm going to help others. I am going to heal this in some way, shape, or form. And maybe you go off to write a book about it, or you start a YouTube channel. I mean, it doesn't have to be fame, right? It doesn't have to be anything of that nature, but it's like you are able to take something that may have been difficulty, and it may have been something that you thought was an illusion, like that person, they were awful, I never even want to think of them again, but maybe they brought you to the truest part of yourself, right? So I just feel like you're digging past all of that fool's gold and you're really getting to the treasure here. And whatever never-ending cycle is coming in, I feel like December is the catalyst month where your belief system is shattered. You are destroying old structures that have limited you, because this is a massive new beginning in your life. And the Tower, I mean, it's not showing up here just in the number itself, but the Tower is also you, Aries energy. So I feel like whatever this is, it's actually going to lead you on this beautiful new journey of the heart, because we have the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups, right? It's represented as the drink me vial in Alice in Wonderland when she's chasing the white rabbit around. Speaking of intuition, there's the high priestess, but she's chasing the white rabbit, right? And so it's like you're chasing time in some way, shape, or form, or you feel like you're running out of time for a situation. And perhaps that could be a feeling that pushes you to take action in some direction. But I see whatever this action is, the Ace of Cups is a gift. The Ace of Cups is a new connection that opens your heart wide open, right? And you may see now why it didn't work with someone in the past, or you may see why you've gone through that journey that may have been challenging. Remember that why that's showing up in October? Well, now you completely get it. And I feel like you're getting it here in October as well, but you may be tying up loose ends here in November, and then December is the big month, right? Drink me. And I feel like you really do grow 7 sizes big, right? But in a confident way and not an inflated way either. But this is the moment of, truth in a way. The Two of Pentacles, this is not only a gift that stems from this conception of the Ace of Cups, but then you go ahead and choose. You make that decision with the Two of Pentacles. So we have here curiosity. We have emotional fulfillment with this Ace of Cups. This is a soul-quenching renewal. Some of you I'm getting as well, you may have had some sort of heart surgery or some surgery maybe in the sacral area. Sacral is 2 inches below the navel. Women's reproductive system. It can be prostate as well. There may be something within the lower back region. Take it as it resonates. It's only if you already know this and you've already been working with people. But the Ace of Cups is a renewal, and it's time to live life again in some way, shape, or form that feels more profound, instead of feeling a little bit bored or uninspired or just doing the same mundane robotic thing day in and day out. Two of Pentacles is here saying you are going to juggle some new opportunities, some new beginnings, but you're going to do just fine. Yeah, you are. You're going to do just fine juggling some new things up at this time, because you're discovering a new path. And we always, when it comes to new beginnings, we tend to feel like we're juggling, and we're always juggling, right? So many times we think the point is to be able to put something down, but you as well as I know that your to-do list never ends. We always add something to it. There's always something to learn. There's always something to teach. There's always, a new path, a new journey, a new opportunity. And I feel like this is completion. 10 of Swords in reverse. Wow. Talk about finalization showing up here for you. And when this 10 of Swords is showing up for you, this is about coming back, not coming back, because there's no coming back from this energy. Like I said, finalizations are here, but I feel like there's a liberation. There's a freeing of oneself after maybe years. Some of you, this is decades, and oof, I hope not. I'm giving you a big hug. If this is decades of chronic pain, if this is decades of emotional unfulfillment or delayed gratification in some way, shape, or form, but there has been an ending and there's a brand new beginning here lined up for you. So I'm loving that. Let's look at the overall energy, or excuse me, the outcome energy for December 2024 for Aries. What's the outcome energy, please? Yes, of course we get the wish fulfillment card. We do have the 7 of Cups. Not necessarily the wish fulfillment, but I feel like you're spoiled for options, and there's the treasure. So how interesting is that? We actually see the All That Glitters card, and we've been talking about the treasure. So you have the opportunity to explore a curiosity, explore this dream. This is possibilities. The 7 of Cups is saying, don't let distractions, a fool's gold, don't go chasing after something that's, not sustainable. I feel like keeping your heart open and being true to you is going to be the key, because you see the pearl, and the pearl is the biggest one standing out. The rest of them kind of look the same in a way. So I feel like there is a new opportunity. This could be a new love, a new, whatever this is new coming in for you. I feel like it will stand out, or you will recognize it to some way, shape, or form. It's not going to be something that comes in and it's so buried amongst all the treasure. Because again, if you look at the 7 of Cups, you see that the pearl, it's big, it's right there, it's in the middle. And even though there's a lot of emeralds around it, I feel like you're going to choose the pearl. And how are pearls formed, right? Under pressure, timing. They take a lot of time, I believe, to get, to create a pearl. And so I feel like there is, a beautiful new option here coming in for you, and you're going to hone in on this option. And I feel like you're really going to commit to it, and it has the potential to bring in a lot of emotional satisfaction, but I'm also getting material satisfaction as well. It's like bringing the spiritual and the material down to earth, and I feel really good about this for you. So 7 of Cups. Last but not least, I'm just going to get one more clarifier. Spirit, can we just dive in a little bit with that 7 of Cups? New deck. 10 of Swords. Yeah, you feel good about this because you're putting something else to rest and you're opening up. So 10 of Wands, you're lifting the anguish, and it's showing up in reverse again, which you can see the wording on this card is lifting anguish. So whatever cycle, some of you, this has been 10 years. Okay. It could be 10 months. Yeah, that's a long time. The last decade, it could be since 2008, as mentioned. I'm also getting 2018 and 2022 were big years for you in some way, shape, or form. Big years of spiritual enlightenment is what I see. But let's get a couple of final cards for you. Final quotes. What do we have, please, for Aries? The winding down of 2024, we have, you can't go back and change the beginning. I mean, how relevant is that with all of these endings? But it says here, but you can start where you are and change the ending. That's what you're doing. That's exactly what you're doing with this never-ending cycle, right? You can't go back and change the beginning. But you can start right here, right now. You can clean it up and you can start where you are and change the ending. And I feel like there is a big change, of course, change in direction that is actually leading you to a favorable new beginning here. Favorable new beginning. You have, don't you know yet? It is your light that lights the world. That reminds me of the hermit, right? The hermit carrying the lantern. It's not the lantern within itself. It's the light within you that shines. So don't you know yet? It is your light that lights the world. So for some of you, what I'm picking up on here, Aries, is you've struggled with insecurities. You've struggled at times with not feeling lovable. You've struggled with abandonment, and maybe you've detached. You may want to look into attachment styles, and maybe some of you have been anxious, right? Or you've been avoidant. Perhaps you've been dismissive because you've been dismissed in some way, shape, or form. But you are activating your divine light within you. And I feel like you're remembering who you are. And it's not just to come down to earth just to say, here I am, I showed up. No, this is so much more. And last but not least, kindness is the most beautiful gift you can give someone, including yourself. Kindness is the most beautiful gift you can give someone, including yourself. I'm getting a message here around some of you. There is a spreading of light with these 3 cards. It's almost like you may have questioned your talents with the Y card, or maybe you questioned your abilities with that Magician. You question, do I have what it takes? Am I doomed to live this out in a negative way? Or am I going to be chronically ill or alone or whatever it is forever? And I just feel like that's not your destiny. Okay. I feel like it's not your destiny. And I feel deep down that you know that's true for you as well. That you have that ability here to shift, to pivot, because that was part of the destiny all along, right? And it may have taken a long time to get to this point, because some of you, there was a dream, there was an illusion. Maybe you thought you were going to be in this profession forever, or you thought you would be in that marriage, or, I just feel like some of you had hung on to a belief. And maybe that belief was, I'm going to be single. I'm going to live out the next half of my life alone, or, whatever your belief is. That may have been true for you at one point, okay? And not saying that at one point it was going to be true that you were supposed to be alone forever, because chances are you weren't. There's been someone, right? But I feel like you're shifting or shattering that belief system, and love is replacing it here. This is a act of self-love, you choosing you. Perhaps you've been a people pleaser your whole life, or perhaps you've been a nurturer or a healer, and you've taken care of kids and your patients and your clients, and you're choosing to do something for you now. For others of you, maybe you've always wanted to go see, a certain part of the world, but you had fear of, maybe I can't do that alone, or, maybe I have to save up for this, or I have to be, I'm going to do this when I hit 50. I almost get that energy. For some of you, there's a specific age. You said, when I hit this age, I'm going to do this. Now, if this is a goal that you have or a wish, I feel like it's important that you can do that. Even if that time has lapsed over, if it's a dream of something you've always wanted to do, great. But I feel like if it's coming from a point of comparing, as in, I never thought at 40 I'd be, divorced and jobless, or whatever it is, if it's a comparing factor, try to let that go. Okay, because it's part of your experience. But if it's a goal or a dream or an aspiration that you've always had, maybe on your vision board, or you've always, seen that poster that you've had, and it's kind of pushed you towards that, or you've had some sort of motivating factor, go towards that dream, because that's what the 7 of Cups is reminding you. You can lift some sort of pain here and choose to move in a new direction. Right? Just like it says, you can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. I love that for you. And I feel like you're absolutely going to do it, because now that you know better, Aries, you're going to do better. You're cleaning it up. And we have too many synchronicities in this reading today to say that you're going to stay where you're at, because it's a big time for you to spread your wings. I hope that resonates, beautiful souls. If so, please hit that thumbs up button. Feel free to share, like, subscribe, and hit that bell if you haven't already. Thank you so much for tuning in today, Aries. Lots of love.